Hello team and welcome to another ATP Geopolitics video with myself, Jonathan MS Pearce, and my good friend somewhere over there, I can't get my fingers right yet, there we go, Greg Terry. Welcome Greg to another co-stream.
What's up, Johnny? I hope you're doing well, and it's nice to see you there in your blue chipper ATP Geopolitics.
Oh man, so there's this, one of my viewers is a legend, Chris Jones, and he's got Clockwork Design. Go and check him out. He's done some designs for me, and I've just ordered myself 3 t-shirts and this like nice light hoodie, which is just I don't know about you, but I am just excited about
Nice.
this. I mean,
well,
just
for me today, I am wearing Ukrainian colors with the blue and gold, but it is my son's football team, the Greenville High School football team. So, but the colors are applicable.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I would like to just start the stream off before we talk about Land Rovers and armored vehicles and whatnot. There's an awful lot going on today. I did 2 breaking news updates today, just because, and just to remind people, we've had an IL-76 cargo plane go down near Moscow, which is, I think, fairly important because of the PR of how that looks for Russia. I think it's important because 15, I mean, I hate to talk about it's important that people died, these are human beings, but 15 crew members died on board. And as Spartan News pointed out to me, that could conceivably be a training aircraft for the to replace crew members who died in the 2 A50 issues and the IL-76 that was previously taken down, and then you lose another 15 crew members. These are the crews almost more important than the aircraft themselves, and so that's what's happened there. Then we had 3 different pro-Ukrainian Russian battalions: the Freedom of Russian Legion, the Russian Volunteer Corps, and the Siberian Battalion, a new one going across the border in 3 different places, supposedly taking control of 1 village. I think they've lost some equipment there. There's some Russians are throwing out some imagery, but then there's imagery going both ways, and that's a really, I think, interesting distraction and a PR problem for. And I'm going to ask you then, Greg, what you think about this. I think the next week, the next 5 days, we are going to see Ukraine do an awful lot of not crazy stuff, but interesting stuff. I think we might see drones being used. Like, we've had oil depots get blown up. We've had St. Petersburg hit twice in the last 24 hours. 2 different oil depots, Oriel and someone else as well, Nizhgorod, whatever it is, that place.
Nizhny Novgorod.
Thank you very much, Greg. Good
no
save.
Problem. I've been there.
I think we're going to see, in the run-up to the presidential elections, an absolute bucket load of Ukraine trying to ruin the party for Putin. Anyway, that's a lot of me talking. What do you think, Greg?
I think you're correct. A couple of reasons I would say that. First, let's go back to the IL-76. And this is very important, as you were stating, about the crews, and equally as important as the airplanes, if not more important. This is one of the reasons the F-16s are not in service yet in Ukraine. Maybe July, I'm still thinking September from everything I'm seeing here inside Ukraine. However, it's not just the airplane, it's the crews, it's the maintenance. So when you begin to take out these positions, they're very specialized, and it's not like Ralph can go start doing what Freddie was doing. It's not, or Igor for Sasha. It's not possible. These are very, very specialized positions, whether it's maintenance, whether it's pilots, if they have engineers on board for doing special tasks on those planes, it's serious. So that's good. As far as the 3 units working across the lines into Russian territory, that's for sure happening. And, that's really just a slapback, because it's happening a lot on the Ukrainian side. So it is tit for tat. And yes, of course, that area.
That's Kino. That's supposedly the village, or it's more of a town, really. It's quite a large area that supposedly the Ukrainians are in control of. I doubt that, or the pro-Ukrainian Russians. But nonetheless, I mean, it's
regardless,
a real challenge.
They're making some movements and they're doing things. And I think you used the word. You may or may not. I don't want to put this into your words, into your mouth, but you said maybe over the next 5 days we're going to see some. Did you use the word desperate? Desperate attempts?
No, not desperate, but I think we're going to see some really interesting attempts and maybe some quite ingenious, or I don't know. I'm just predicting that if I was Ukraine, if I was Budanov and I was Zelensky and I was Sursky, I'd be like, what can we do that were serious PR challenges to Putin?
Well, I agree with you. Ukraine now is to the point where they've got to start doing some things that are, I don't want to use the word they're desperate, but we need some victories. We need some positive news. We need some actions that can help sway the story right now, because it is tough. We are doing okay. We are defending, but the big story now is the defensive lines are being dug in, which should have been done 2 years ago, but it wasn't done properly. You've seen those with your own eyes, and they are massive. And Johnny, since you were here, it's twice as much.
Yeah.
Like where you were looking down the Kherson region, it's okay to say it, down in the Kherson area, you were looking at all those fortified lines. Man, now they're twice as much down there. So it's good that Ukraine is finally preparing for that, but at the same time, we need some good morale boosting news. And I think some of these incursions and some of the strikes deep into Russian territory are very important for that.
I think the ones inside Russian territory are interesting. Well, they're particularly important because Russians can't but know about them because they're physically going to see them. It's interesting that already we seem to have forgotten that the Ukrainians sunk a ship the other day, right? And that's huge. Like, this is a fairly sizable 2,000-ton Russian ship that was sunk by the Ukrainians, and we're almost like, oh, I've forgotten about that. Let's move on to the next thing. But actually, the Ukrainians have had significant success, but the problem is, I find that the mainstream media doesn't really shout about that enough. They shout about when things are tough for the Ukrainians, but when the Ukrainians sink a ship, it's like, oh, they sunk a ship. Yeah, that should be huge news. But actually, the Russians themselves probably don't even know about that inside Russia. But what they will know about is a massive smoking oil depot in Oriol, or another facility blowing up in St. Petersburg, as two have done sort of in the last, this morning, really. And that's the second biggest city in Moscow. And those things will hit the public consciousness in Russia.
Yeah, the second biggest city in Russia, behind Moscow. Let me tell you this. I see a couple of comments in my chat there. Is there anyone heir apparent to Putin that would swoop in and take the Russian people a different direction? No, that's not going to happen at all. And unless he's gone, and then the ones that would follow up if they were in the same stream as him would be just equally as bad guys. So we need a victory in war here. That's what's going to turn the tide. Additionally, are we seeing the cyber attacks on the Russian side? Yes, it's very good. I remind you that I call them Ukrainian hackers here, Ukrainian cyber warfare units are incredibly strong, very powerful. But also, I can tell you the same thing happens in Ukraine. I've had multiple times where I can't even get money out of the bank here, guys. And it's because the systems are down because they're under attack from Russia. So the cyber warfare happens every day. You may not read about it. You may not hear about it. You may not see about it, but it's nonstop cyber warfare. And I'm sure it's happening all over the world. And I do not chase conspiracy theories and who did what and all of this, but there's a lot of it going on everywhere throughout the world.
Thanks so much, Brian. Really good of you to support the channel. Michael here says the term is ethical hacker. I mean, yeah, when they're hacking and doing the right thing, they're ethical hackers in my book. Yeah, but it's so important. It's part of this hybrid warfare that both sides are doing. Indeed, one of the reports today was that Belgorod was cyber attacked at the same time that you had 3 incursions into different areas of Belgorod. They were also doing things like hitting Belgorod city with the drone. So just to let you know where we are, over the border into just north of Kharkiv, really. You've got the city of Belgorod. They're both fairly close to the border. And so technically Belgorod could get hit in the same way that Kharkiv does, but Ukraine doesn't quite do the let's blow up civilians in the same way that Russia does. But they have thrown some drones at Belgorod. Administrative buildings were hit. Cyber attacks supposedly in Belgorod at the same time as 3 places, actually technically 4 places, I think, in this area. So we have Griveron, attacks towards there. Then we had attacks over the border to, I think, somewhere just here. If it no, it's not there. Another place just over the border. There's a border town that was here. I'm sure it's there. It's this one here. Yes, it is. Nektoktiva, which is where a Ukrainian T-62 has been hit and its tracks come off by the checkpoint there. And my pronunciation is brilliant. Don't take the piss.
Negativka. So yeah, the village of negativity.
Yeah, is that what it is? Brilliant.
Yeah. Now, since you're talking about that,
yeah,
just because you were talking about Kharkiv and Belgorod,
yeah.
So leave it right there. People need to. I think it'd be really good for people to understand how close these places are. And these are two. Kharkiv is a mega city. Belgorod's a very, very large city. So it's 97 kilometers from the center of Kharkiv to the center of Belgorod. So if there was no border there and the roads are okay, you drive it in an hour. This is how close these cities are. So when you hear about, okay, Ukraine striking Belgorod or Russia striking Kharkiv, guys, it's really close to the border. It's nothing.
Yeah. And the other place that's again seen action today is Shebekino, that was attacked previously, as was Griveron, attacked previously when the Ukrainians did this before, or the pro-Ukrainian Russians did this before, and then apparently towards Kazinka. So 4 areas that keep the Russians on their toes. The Russians will have a choice as to whether they divert attention and forces and resources to their border now. And therefore, it's great that the Ukrainians can do this without having to use their own mobilized troops here. So this is a great thing, is that the problem that Greg keeps talking about and everyone appears to be cognizant of these days is a mobilization issue that the Ukrainians have. But here we've got 3 units who aren't under their kind of mobilization remit. These aren't Ukrainians, and these are extra, if you like, these are your extras that are being used to attack into Russia, that can then draw forces away from the front line or from other duties to have to come and sort out the Ukrainians in these regions. So I think it's pretty significant stuff, that.
I need to catch one piece of chat before it goes by too far, Johnny. Richard Bennett, yes, your £100 donation. And we'll be talking about that a little bit later in the stream, guys. Pretty amazing what's happening, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get to that very shortly. But yeah, so good stuff. And indeed, sort of pertinent to that is Paul Gilbert saying, let's go, less than 120,000 to raise Slava Ukraini. Yeah, we'll return to that point in a second. Just the last thing I want to say, indeed, before we do so, is this news. So this news is fantastic, and fingers crossed. I mean, it's fantastic. On the one hand, it's fantastic. On the other hand, it is not $60 billion, right? So this is a $400 million package that is supposedly coming from the White House, which I'm sure will be part of the presidential drawdown. And this is the amount that the White House has to spend. To be honest, they have to spend it around the world. This isn't just for Ukraine. This is like a worldwide emergency sort of funding to be able to spend money militarily where it's needed anywhere in the world. And it's still the beginning of the year. And the argument is, well, why hasn't Biden spent it already? But we're only in March, and actually that he's got $5 billion to last the whole year and the whole world. But the other argument is, well, just spank it all now in Ukraine because they desperately need it. So you can make those arguments. But nonetheless, $400 million probably coming from that in an aid package that is expected to include 300-kilometer range ATACMS. And that's being reported by both Reuters and Politico. As Noel reports here, says the White House is expected to announce as soon as Tuesday that it will send a number of ATACMS. I don't know if that's next Tuesday or today. A new package of $300 million worth of military aid. according to US officials, with knowledge of the discussions earlier. Reuters hinted towards a new military aid package worth up to $400 million. So it's somewhere around that amount, and it could well, as mentioned here in the headline, White House expected to announce it's sending ATACMS munitions to Ukraine. We had heard previously that they have been more formally toying with the idea of sending ATACMS, the administration. So, fingers crossed they do, because they will be, whether they'll be game changers or not, they'll be seriously good for Ukraine.
Yeah, right now we need anything we can get, to be quite honest with you. And it will be positive. It'll also be a morale booster. And, my opinion being here, and I'm still here, and I'm pushing up toward my 90 days where I will have to leave the country. And then I'll be coming back with the new project we're doing. I'll have to go see my family, or they'll throw me to the wolves. Yeah. But the reality is, anything positive we can get from outside Ukraine right now is a big help for the morale, and they need it. They really need it. I just hope, we'll see. We'll see. At the point right now, and I'm an American, and so I'll speak for America. I don't want to say "Я верю, когда я вижу," which translated means "I believe it when I see it." But at this point, I'm hopeful. I that's the best news we've heard coming out of the United States in weeks and weeks and weeks. So we need to ride that, and hopefully it happens. And I know as soon as it is official, that if you want to know it, guys, ATP Geopolitics and Johnny Pearce will have it with a breaking news segment. In fact, he'll tell you before, as soon as the ink is dry on Biden's pen, Johnny will be announcing.
Hopefully so. And I don't want to sidetrack this discussion with the mention of DJT again, but just to reiterate, the one big concern is that, as through Viktor Orban, the idea is that not a single penny will go to Ukraine, and I think that's the most depressing news I have heard, because I had vague hopes that he could see like some sense, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. So we need to make sure that make hay while the sun shines and get as much aid to Ukraine sooner rather than later.
Well, Johnny, we don't want to go down the political world right now, but just think about this as far as your expertise. Okay. The Prime Minister of Hungary, although a small nation, is very important in this war, much more important than they should be. And that's not disrespectful to Hungarians. So do not take it that way. But due to the relationship that Viktor Orban has with not only Vladimir Putin, but also Donald Trump, he immediately becomes an extremely prominent player in this game and the nation of Hungary. I personally know a lot of Hungarians that are supportive and want Ukraine maximum aid. They're all for it. But the Orban regime is in power. And just think about this. The Prime Minister of Hungary came to the United States and visited the former president in his hotel home / complex compound in Florida, and did not visit the president of the United States or even other political leaders. Maybe he was unavailable, senators or House. He goes to Trump and he goes home, and then he speaks for Trump and says, the world will be ended when America stops giving. And if Donald Trump's elected, it's over. And then Europe will fall in suit, and Ukraine, the war will be over because Ukraine can't stand. Basically, that's what he said. So
actually, when he visited Mar-a-Lago, they said, it's really interesting. I listened to an analysis today. They said they very deliberately set out, they had flags, a red carpet, as if he was going to the White House. Like
on a state visit.
The whole framing was, this is an official state visit. And of course it wasn't. And
No.
whenever any of the Fox News or whoever was talking about Trump, it's like, instead of calling him former president, they've started calling him President Trump again. And so there's a lot of interesting mental manipulation going on there with the whole framing of that.
That is why I say to you and to all the viewers in here tonight, and I know there are a lot of Americans in here and a lot of other nations as well. Guys, as far as my country is concerned right now, believe it when you see it. And I'm sorry to say that, but I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful, and I believe that 400 million will come, but I'm to the point now I've got to see it. I really have to see it because I struggle to understand my country. I did pretty good in U.S. government. I've got a really good friend that's a very, very high-ranking attorney in the United States. He was actually an attorney for the State Supreme Court of Virginia. We grew up together. We talk all the time. And a lot of the things that we're seeing right now are just a tad bit goofy. And we just need to pay attention to it. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's none of that. It's just, let's just watch and let's see what happens. Unfortunately, while we're watching, since we've been streaming for the last 25 minutes, a Ukrainian soldier has died. You can put that in the bank. And it's happening nonstop.
I just want to, there's someone said, isn't Speaker Johnson's dad got stakes in Hungary? No, just to correct on that, at least what I think you're referring to is Tucker Carlson's dad sits on a board of the lobbying firm that lobbies for Viktor Orban. So this is, I wrote a massive article on this back in September. Carlson Heritage, the Heritage Foundation, Russia, follow the money. So Tucker Carlson is involved so deeply with Hungary because actually his dad lobbies literally for Viktor Orban, and this is why Viktor Orban gets to go to CPAC, which is why CPAC's been to Budapest, which is why Heritage Foundation's involved in setting up something called Project 2025 that will look to provide the blueprint for Trump if he gets in, and Tucker Carlson is very much a part of that. And the money flows from Russia to something called the Bethany Foundation and another organization who part fund the Heritage Foundation, who then, like, you have money going from Russia to Hungary to American politics. It's just quite incredible. Anyway, go and I'll tag this in the live.
Yeah, that guy's a really good writer, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much, mate.
So okay, who is Tucker Carlson?
Good question.
Okay.
In what sense?
Because I've completely erased him from my memory banks because he's a traitor to my nation. So who is Tucker Carlson?
Quite. Yeah. Let's not give him oxygen.
Exactly.
So let's move on to more positive things. And this is the fantastic project that you have initiated that you're going to tell us about. Tell us what's going on and what you've already achieved.
No. What we have already achieved. So yesterday at noon Eastern, 6 p.m. Ukraine time, we initiated a project to raise $200,000 to purchase 3 armored vehicles, specifically requested by the Frontline from engineers, commanders who know the score, exactly what they need for doing the rescue of the soldiers and other tasks that these armored vehicles would do. We initially received some challenges from some donors in the United States, one who donated $25,000, one who donated $55,000. So we had $80,000 donated towards the $200,000 before we ever started the project. Additionally, we did not start the project until we had dotted all of our I's and crossed all of our T's with our entire administrative team there in the United States, including Professor Gertis. He's got that PhD for some reason, and we're putting it to good use, plus some of the investors who are connected to DOD members in the United States. I mean, massive research happened before we ever went public. When we went public, what it means when we go public, guys, is it's going to happen. Period. First of all, our nonprofit in the United States would never green light a project for us to raise this kind of money if it was not going to happen. So yes, it's a step of faith. And for Johnny, it's a step of the aligning of the planets and the atmospheric pressure. But regardless, it's still steps of faith. And we know it's going to happen. I can tell you within the last 24 hours, over $20,000 US came in. We're now over $100,000 in 24 hours. Tonight, in 4 hours, I will be on with Mercado Media, and we'll be pushing it there and talking about the war in Ukraine. I'm going to be on with Operator Starsky. We're going to be on with Warthog. We're smashing this, guys. Now, I'm not at liberty to talk about the other numbers, but today we received another challenging donation that is substantially large. And that donation came and said, okay, I would like to donate a large sum. And it's a large sum. And I'm not being mysterious. I have to preserve our integrity. We've already had the ongoing discussions, and we're just waiting for the 1,000,000% yes, we're going to do this. But if I do this, I would only ask you guys to, instead of doing 3 armored vehicles, I'm going to make a very large donation and we're going to do 5. So we're talking now about a project going from 200,000 to 300,000, but no problem. So our back-end team is working on that very heavily. People have been donating all day. I will be getting numbers about every 24 hours, but I can tell everybody that saw Dr. Gertis or myself last night, we've already raised over $20,000 in the first 24 hours, and we are rolling. But we're way better than that. I just don't want to move the thermometer until I get the administrative team and Pastor Kent and all of our guys in Pennsylvania go, okay, put the number here because this is where we're at. And today we were in communication with the export company, which is responsible for all of the documentation and paperwork. You know, people message all the time, well, just go buy 10 Land Rovers and drive them across the border. Guys, it's not that easy. When you see like NAFO doing what they do, they're an incredible organization who are doing amazing things. When you see Arthur Reddy and Brandon Mitchell, all of these things, guys, it just doesn't happen. So big props to Arthur and big props to Brandon. I talk to Brandon quite often. And we all play our parts in this. These are very specific armored vehicles. And when I say armored, I'm talking seriously armored for the front, specifically designed for the project. And we will further equip them with the latest in night vision, anti-drone devices, double winches front and back, and they're going to be incredible. So we've got it going. We thank you so much for participating. And I'm just asking everyone here. I know the people that are watching my stream right now, we just advertised this really quick and popped on. Johnny called and said, hey, let's pop on really quick and let's talk about raising this money. ATP Geopolitics, 100% behind this. So thank you guys for that. Thank you, Johnny. There's a lot of people watching right now. It just takes a little bit from everybody. I saw earlier in the chat that somebody said, the way we're really going to make a change in this war is through grassroots effort. I completely 1,000,000% agree with that. Because I believe that the swell of humanity, no matter the background, doing the right thing and coming together is going to be example for those that are in power, where they're going to say, hey, if I want to stay in power, I better go with the people. And I just believe we're doing the right thing. So everybody doing their part. It may be $5, $10. It may just be a prayer, or for Johnny, good luck, whatever it may be. But whatever it is, all together, we're going to do it. And I promise you guys, we're going to accomplish it. After that, I will be going home to see my family because I have to be kicked out of Ukraine anyway for 90 days. And then I'll be back in Ukraine very quickly, and we will personally deliver this convoy. Now it's a convoy to, to the front lines. So thank you.
Great question from Michael. I never know how to pronounce this. So Vivichar. Ask Greg if there is a way to set up a monthly stipend. So actually on something like Buy Me a Coffee, I know Greg has Buy Me a Coffee. No.
Listen, let me help you. So
but
this
PayPal
is easy.
Also does that. PayPal does it too.
Go through our direct link. So you go to gregterry.org/donate, and then you have 2 choices there. Both of those donations go into our nonprofit. Everything's taken care of. And you can choose. Yeah, I think PayPal does it too, but that's connected to our nonprofit.
You can do. But for example, if you put in that email address into PayPal, that's the PayPal you want, and you can do a monthly thing on PayPal.
Set up reoccurring. So this, yes. Great. So the same thing also in our direct deposit. So both of those, it works perfectly, and it should be. We have a lot of donors doing that already. So I know it works perfectly. So thank you for that. Now, for those of you that are new here, maybe you're on Johnny's channel, you don't know who I am, or you've seen me, whatever. Johnny, and I know you've got to take care of your children, but would you play that 3-minute video just so people can see this is what we're doing, guys?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Greg, this is incredible. I've been praying for vehicles and wishing for vehicles for a long time, and making posts for vehicles, and we've had no bites. And all of a sudden, you and some wealthy gentleman in the UK all reach out to us at the same time. about exactly the same subject. So we've got Ben is with us. He's friends with the guy from Thanks a Lot. A wealthy donor reached out to Thanks a Lot and said, I want to donate to Ukraine. He suggested Ben, who's with PK, and that ball is busy rolling. That same gentleman has asked us if we would like a couple of snatches as a start and a couple of quad bikes as a start, and he's going to try and fill it with several night vision and thermal images, and some kamikaze and surveillance drones. I don't know the numbers that he's offering, but he's offering. We were speaking yesterday. Sorry, these cats are driving me nuts. We were speaking with this guy. His name is Nick. He's the owner of Thanks a Lot, and he was giving us a video walkthrough of his vehicles. The snatchers are ideal because not only is the cab is fully armored, but the rear is fully. So the front cab, the driver's cab is fully armored with armored glass, but the whole rear of it has been it's Kevlar. It's Kevlar, so it's bulletproof. It's armored. An elephant gun cannot go through it. They tested it. So just without opening these links, which I can't do now because I'm driving in a convoy, these snatches are ideal. And I love you for asking. When an airliner crashes, it's very sad and it's horrible news. But you get executives sitting around a table hashing out the agreements of how much is one life worth, how many millions are we going to pay through our insurance company for each life lost. And that is a serious thing, and it needs to be addressed. But what if you had $200,000 and you could save multiple lives over and over and over again? We're talking about Greg Terry and our YouTube Allies project for raising $200,000 to buy armored Land Rovers. They're called snatchers because they snatch people from the brink of death. We run a Mitsubishi Shogun with Kevlar blankets stapled to the side, and we've got a drone jammer kindly donated by Harry Est and One Team One Fight. Thank you again, Harry and Dima and One Team One Fight. But we are defenseless against killer drones. Please help us, and thank you once again for joining this incredible venture to help us save more lives.
Good stuff there. And Thanks a Lot, by the way, is a UK-based tank driving experience. That's who they're referring to there. So So give us some more details then about what we need to know.
Well, it's a done deal, guys. It's going to happen because we're committed, and we would have never went public with this if we didn't have full intention to see this through. And not only is this going to be something that happens in a year from now, this is going to be happening in just weeks to a couple of months. It takes like 4 to 6 weeks to do the paperwork for the export and all of that. And once we have raised 50%, we will put a deposit down, which we have already raised 50%. So that deposit will be going down by the end of this week is our plan. And the project's initiated. Then we begin dealing with the export documents, all the stuff that we have to deal with. But our team handles all of that. All we have to do is come together. Then we will get them into Ukraine, and in Ukraine is where we will actually outfit them with the anti-drone and the night vision, because here, especially for the anti-drone, they know exactly what they need because everything changes nonstop here because of the electronic warfare. And they run flat tires and all of this stuff. And then we will literally drive them to the front lines in a convoy, and you guys will be with us. You will see your love in action all the way to the front. So it's going to happen. I'm confident on that.
Which is so great, because it just, as you know, it's all about transparency, and Greg's always talked about exactly how transparent, how no money goes towards admin, no one's being employed to do all this stuff, which is great charitable work from the people who are involved. And let's thank those people as well.
Absolutely.
They're probably the people that get ignored in all of this, but they're doing great stuff in enabling these projects to get off the ground, and Greg to do the stuff he does. And then the money, as you see, in the videos that Greg produces, the money goes to getting stuff, and the stuff gets given to the people who need it the most. And Greg is there, and Zhenya is there, of course, not to forget. Zhenya is they are delivering that stuff and telling you about it. You can't get more transparent than that.
No, and we will continue to operate exactly like that. And this one's going to be even bigger and better. Let me hit a couple of comments here. You don't have to pull them up. I can just see them in our back ends here. Ask JP about Andrew Perpetua. Maybe we could connect with him. That was one of your viewers.
Right,
Greg,
that might be something. Yeah.
If you can work with JB on this, I'm assuming he's talking about Jake Bro from Georgie LaForge. If you guys can connect me to Jake Bro, that would be great. I think we would really hit it off. Heister, well, I'm speaking XYSTR Hobbit. I wish I could believe you, Greg, that we could affect the politicians, but their big sponsors pull all the strings. Yeah, and that's fine, but that doesn't mean we do not try. So I would rather try and fail than fail to try. So that we're gonna believe in that we actually can change it and go for it. Greg, can we keep eye on smaller units struggling just to raise money for a single drone? Yeah, that's it. It's my Rose. It's tough here. Also, guys, I can tell you, because many of you in ATP Geopolitics donated to the Eyes in the Sky project, the drone project, and Zhenya and I will be picking up the squad of 20 plus drones and delivering them to the 3rd Assault Brigade, 2nd Rifle Battalion. And all of the money that you invested, everything that you believed in us for a couple of months when we said, hang on, this is not easy. You just don't go to the store and buy anything like this. It will be delivered within the next 2 weeks, and you will see it put right into the hands of the 2nd Rifle Battalion.
And also not to I guess derail this, but while you're talking drones, can you talk about the Sabotaged drones from China? I know your viewers will have heard about this. I actually told my viewers just as an off-the-cuff thing, but if you can give us some details about that.
Yeah, right here, thousands of these chips, thousands and thousands and thousands. I'm not allowed to say the exact number. I'm also not allowed to say which organization purchased these drones. But I am allowed to tell you that thousands and thousands and thousands of drones that were intended for the frontline groups, of where we see people saying, well, some units don't have anything. That's because thousands and thousands and thousands are sabotaged. This is the actual chip that was sabotaged. You take off the cover, and inside you see a drilled hole. And coming from China, many thousands of these were sabotaged. So we are replacing these chips. They're $50 a pop to replace the chip. The drone's fine. So when the groups on the front line started putting these drones into the air, they immediately burnt these chips up and they crashed. And then this group says, hold on, there's something wrong. And then they talked to another group. They said, hold on, ours is doing the same thing. Then they talked to another group. Ours is doing the same thing. Finally, the SBU got involved. They started taking the drones apart and started researching, and they found this circuit board, this chip was actually sabotaged, and all of them were sabotaged. So we have a supplier here in Ukraine, and they're not coming from China. They're actually coming from the US, and these chips are being replaced. And it's about $50 a chip, and we've already replaced, I think, 50 of them. So that's $2,500, and that's 50 more in the air. That's not part of our big drone campaign. So we're actually getting many more in the air. But the squadron you're going to see are the ones you purchased.
This is how freaking important Greg, Terry, and Zhenya are. Like this is how important
You will hear this news within a month, but I'm telling you now, when you hear the group that was affected and that bought these drones, it will make you sad. There is a reason they're holding it back, but the SBU said, okay, you can share, just not the exact number and not the organization that bought them.
Because this is a potential PR disaster. But absolutely, actually, on the flip side is you guys and us as a community coming together to solve that problem in a fairly brisk fashion is a PR turnaround. It's like hopefully potentially a feel good story at the end of the day. Snatching, to use snatch again, snatching, success from the jaws of disaster. So, hopefully, with your amazing work, we can help put that right. So
I was literally in the office with the team responsible for changing these. I watched them take it, put it on the table and take it apart and lift it up and show it to me and say, everyone, every one. And the drones are stacked there like something you'd see in an Amazon warehouse. And it's very, very tragic, but it is. But at the same time, it is a good opportunity for us to fix it. So what I can tell you about is Ukraine is they do not give up. They did not throw the drones in the trash. They started raising money privately to fix this and try to avoid a PR disaster, because when this hits the news, the best defense that we have for it is to say, yes, we had a problem. Yes, they were sabotaged, but we fixed it. To the good people have come, that we have replaced the chips and the birds are in the air. That's the way they're trying to protect this, because it was a Chinese supplier. So it's bad, but we're making something good out of it.
Absolutely, absolutely fantastic there. So really what we would ask is that I'm just trying to look in the live chat. There's a lot going on, see what I've missed, but just ask that you guys follow those links. Don't if you're wanting to donate to the charitable, to these vehicles, or indeed to the drones or whatever, I presume the money that goes into the general charitable pot for the moment will just be going straight to the vehicles. Is that correct?
That's correct. Absolutely.
Things like those drones can draw from stuff that's already there. Is that right?
Yes, that's exactly what we're doing. So there are people in all of our communities that say, listen, I know you're going to raise the money for the vehicles, but I just really have a heart to buy chocolates for kids. Okay. That's fine. Do not stop doing that. Just please note it, because we're not doing an 05 or an 01 or an 08. No.
Yeah.
We're going to raise that number up like crazy. And we're going to go from 3 to 5. So unless you just have it in your heart or your mind to say, no, I want that village to have chocolate, that's fine. Just somehow notate it in your message or send me an email via my website. But if not, every donation, and you guys will be updated. So tonight I'm on with Johnny live, and then in 4 hours I will be on with Andrew Mercado. My next stream on my channel alone will be tomorrow night, and that'll be 48 hours after the project initiated, and I will be giving you guys an update of where we stand.
Someone's asking if they can have the chip number privately. Please contact them with teams who need rework stations. I don't know if someone has some expert there. It's one of yours, Lindsay Rogers. Yeah. So I'll leave that with you.
Yeah, just email me, because I'm really not supposed to give anything.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah. And so what would be great is,
Привет, Vitaly.
Please don't give money to the charity through to me. It's much more efficient to give it straight to the links in the description below, and the PayPal link that I've already put up, because otherwise multiple people take a cut, and that's not what we want. We don't want YouTube to make any money out of that. We want the money to go straight to Greg's charitable organization. So if you're going to give towards these vehicles, please do so through Greg's PayPal link or his donation links. And
yes, thank you.
It would be great. I know you guys are constantly generous, right? I know you guys are giving money all the time, and do you know what? There are billionaires out there, Mr. Elon Musk, who could just solve these problems like that. But in the absence of those people doing that, it's up to us to help. So it would be amazing if you could help bump up with what little you may have, or with what huge amounts you may have. I don't know the positions you are in, but if you have the desire and the wherewithal to help out, please hit Greg's PayPal there, and let's see how much effect this video, this live stream can have in driving up some of those numbers towards getting those armored ambulances, armored medical vehicles for the guys on the front line. And it would be fantastic if Greg can contact me and say, look, do you know what? There was a little bit of a bump after the ATP video. So
I know where we were in 24 hours and prior to our video, and I'll know where we're at in 24 more hours from now. And we will do everything to keep it transparent, as we always do, to the best of our ability. Guys, I just, I appreciate your trust. And I think we validate that. We're getting ready to roll out again with a huge, massive aid drop. We are We do have our Navara repaired now. We've got one more day of work on that. And then Thursday morning, we're heading out for all of those deliveries. And you will be seeing everything, guys, everything.
Yeah.
So additionally, Johnny, you've been here. You see where we go. You see what we do, and you've been a part of it. So that's also another good validation, especially for your viewers. And, it just, I can't even explain to you guys now how fast this stuff is growing. And the amount of ministration that the guys at my church are doing to make this happen is shocking. And there's no salary in it. There's no cuts. There's no admin fees. Of course not. Every penny to Ukraine. But there is a lot of hours every day going into make this happen. So I have to give a shout out to our crew back home.
Definitely.
This is not simple. I promise you.
Yeah.
And we're thankful. Now, I can also tell you guys, no, this was not DJI Mavic 3s. No, this was not DJIs. These were customized drones.
Interesting. I was wondering that myself.
Yeah, not DJI.
And talking, I don't want to badmouth all billionaires, because as someone rightly said, Warren Buffett forked over lots of money. He has, I think, given two lots of $500 million, like $1 billion worth. When you look at someone like Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, who seems to be siding with Russia, and when his best mate David Sachs every day is posting egregious, disgusting pro-Russian nonsense and throwing that out to his massive audience, and then Trump is retweeting that. I have a problem with that. When someone like Warren Buffett comes along and is quietly, and his son is quietly putting really massive things in place to support Ukraine, two huge donations and lots of formalized aid organizations and stuff making a difference, and actually billionaires can make a difference, but we can also make a difference as well, and that is what's wonderful, is hopefully our lives get enriched by that rosy glow that we have in doing the right thing for the right people at the right time. And Greg here and Zhenya are the conduits through which we can pass our positive vibes and money into making a tangible difference for those people in that small way that we can.
John Larkin, just go to my website and you can access it. Just click the link. Also, I have to say this, LJ Boone, yes, you can finally type in my chat. Congratulations. She's been trying to type for a week, and we were trying to figure out why she couldn't. She could. So thank you for that. And listen, guys, we work 24/7. And because I believe, and Johnny believes, and all of you believe, it's all of us believing together that this is one of those times in the world that the world as we know it will change forever over what is happening in this era. And I'm talking the last few years. And in 2024, I believe nobody can predict what's going to happen over the coming months, but we work for victory. We work for the best, and we have to wait and see, but we fight for the best always.
Absolutely. And just a minor point here, someone says, what about Jeff Bezos? We spend so much on Amazon. He should donate. I totally agree. And you know what? He's just taken over as the richest man in the world again. So Elon Musk has actually lost that mantle due to the value of certain making some mess up with some of his companies and whatnot. So Jeff Bezos, would be nice if he did spend a bit of money. That would be good.
Yeah. But
let's all help out too.
Listen, guys, maybe I'm naive. Maybe I still believe that people working together, doing right, can make a change in the world. That's it.
Power to the people.
And if I've got to wait on a Donald Trump or a Jeff Bezos or a Warren Buffett or a scumbag Carlson, who I forgot who he was anyway, to make a change in this world, then our world sucks.
Yeah.
Yes, the preacher can say sucks. We can make the difference.
Be the change that
exactly.
we want to make.
Who cares about them scumbags with billions? It would be great, but we're not waiting on them. We can make a change. Last time I checked, there's power in the masses. And okay, everything starts small. Let's go for it. Let's go for it.
Absolutely. And I just want to say thanks to those who support this channel. Thanks to Brian Ivy. Thanks to Paul Gilbert. Thanks to Alexis Kiri. And thanks to Lynn from Arizona. Surprised it's us. Gifting memberships. Thanks also to Richard Bennett, who's so very kind, and that's for your channel there, Richard Bennett, doing that. Very kind, Richard. Thanks so much to Okie Dokie, love to Ukraine. I'll be passing on that love, so thank you, Okie Dokie. That's really very generous of you. Super kind. And for Greg King Dog, super sticker, so that is awesome. And Richard Bennett, my way as well. So thanks, mate. I really appreciate that. Dude, before we sort of, I have to, it's going to be cut a bit shorter tonight due to sort of family commitments and whatnot. I just thought this was interesting. Someone saying 2 of Trump's wives were born in the USSR. I've forgotten that. Like thinking about where his that's a really important thing, and also his present wife, although she's gone a bit AWOL recently, as Slovenia's borders, Slovenia, where she's from, border Hungary. That country borders Hungary. Not conspiracy theory, but just something to notice. So yeah, interesting bit of.
Let me answer one last question because I've seen it. I've seen it from multiple viewers. Just because the chat's got both of our chats, what we watch here on the back end of your play, it just goes quickly. But I keep seeing people talking about the smaller units. Guys, we help the smaller units. If you remember, go back to a video, 10 days or so ago, where we were dropping aid down the Zaporizhia line to the Robitny guys, and that unit only had 20 guys in it, and they had nothing, and we were there. So like right now, Zhenya is 24/7 literally talking to commanders, and we only help personal relationships, hand to hand, and the most needed. So for example, even the battalion we adopted, which is from the 3rd Assault Brigade, 2nd Rifle Battalion, they had nothing. They went into their battle in Avdiivka with 500 soldiers. They came out with 270, and they lost everything. We supplied them together. All of us working together. It was a $56,000 aid drop. We will be going back to them very soon. We've got all kind of other supplies we're dropping them. They may have 270 guys, but they lost everything. So they had nothing. So whether it's small, large, we're doing our best to help everybody that we possibly can. And so set your mind at ease on that one. I love the small guys.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, I wasn't saying Slovenia was part of the USSR. I was saying the 2 wives of Trump, previous wives, were born in the USSR. Yes, so brilliant stuff. So let's really try and boost that pot for those vehicles and see where we can get it. See if we can get to matching some of those larger donations that Greg has amazingly received. From all that love around the world. Am I right in saying that one of those larger donations is those people is based in the UK then? Listen, that's what started this. That's 2 more vehicles coming in. No, the 2 large donations were from the United States, one of 25K, one of 55K. I mean, crazy. And we've got some other challenges, and I mean that in a positive way, meaning further donations that are come that are potentially large, that I will be updating you guys on. Just people caring, and they trust us, and they say, I see what you're doing. I've been looking for a place where I could donate to help Ukraine, and I know it will get there. I'm not going to throw it down some corporate hole anymore. I tried that at the beginning of the war, and it didn't work. So I found you guys. I'm trusting you guys. And so there's another potentially big challenge coming. In the same project where our numbers are going to go up. But tomorrow night on my stream, so basically in 26 hours or so, I will be giving the 48-hour update, because I'm going to wait about 48 hours to give the thermometer move, unless I can get the numbers. I usually get them every 24, but I want to see it there. So you guys will be watching basically every day that thermometer go up. Do it, guys. Come on, let's do it. Amazing. If we can make a difference, then you guys are legends, and I already know you're legends. You are leg ends, and let's see if we can make a difference.
Listen,
that'd be fantastic.
It takes all of us working together, but I'm telling you right now, this is a done deal. I have complete faith in that this is going to happen. I'm watching it happen. I'm getting the reports. And not only that, how good are you going to feel when we pull those vehicles up to the front line and hand the keys over to soldiers who have no armored vehicles? You're going to feel like, oh my goodness, I am really making a change in this world. So it's going to happen. Period.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, as the Royal Navy tagline is in the UK, the team works. You know, teamwork, the team works. So, you know, if we work as a team, it will work for the benefit of us all, and us all being the global community.
Absolutely.
So let's make sure we make a difference.
Zhenya's in here. He can say hi to Zhenya real quick.
Hey, Zhenya.
There he is.
Right, he's in the chat.
Yep, he's in the chat.
Yes, there he is. He is showing some love. Good man, that Zhenya. Good man. I can actually I can give you confirmation that human being is indeed a good human being. I have seen evidence of it myself.
Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day.
Something like that, Greg. Something like that. So look, what are your last words for this live stream?
My last words for this live stream are thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. And the best is yet to come. Don't lose faith. Don't lose hope. We're gonna win this war. And because I believe that good wins over evil, and the good is when all the people of the world, regardless of backgrounds, come together and make a difference. So thank you all.
Absolutely. Couldn't have put it better myself, so I won't. Thank you very much, peeps. And I will be plugging away at this Snatch project in a hope that we continue to drive some funding towards securing as many as 5 of these bad boys. And Greg will keep us updated as to how that is going, and then eventually how it's going in getting those vehicles over from the UK to
absolutely. And Johnny, I'll pop back on with you in 5 or 6 days from now. We'll do another co-stream because I will be out on the front somewhere, and it'd be interesting. And we'll do a good stream there in 5 or 6 days, and even have a greater update for your viewers as well. So thank you.
That'll be fantastic. You know, all our streams are good, my man. So of course it'll be a good stream. You know, look, take care, everybody. Thank you so much for being here and for being part of this. And please, do the right thing. It'll be fantastic if we can show a bump in this, and tell people in your community, tell people, you know, in your online community or in your real community, if there's anyone that can help to bolster these funds, then that would be fantastic. Just a random little thing. I've got my local village magazine, right? And I was just thinking, I'm pretty sure that Stumpton Choice, just the little magazine thingy, that's the Ukrainian flag there. I'm going to contact them because I occasionally see driving around a van in my local community that has like help Ukraine and a phone number on the back and stuff. I'm like, that's cool. I need to beat them down and stop them and get them. And I also saw, of all things, a Tesla electric car. Good old Elon Musk the other day the other month actually with the Ukrainian plate on the back. I was like, hang on, what are you doing over here in my little neck of the woods? Isn't that nice? Anyway,
I need to answer this. One of your viewers said they live near Tanks a Lot, and do we need drivers? Thank you so much for that. And you're even validating that Tanks a Lot is a real deal. No, we will. It's such a big deal with the export and all of that. We actually work with an export company, and that's why we will not have a border issue or none of those things as well. So yeah, everything's taken care of, guys. All we got to do is raise the money, and we'll get them in here, get them finalized on the modifications, and away to the front they go. So thank you though for offering, and thank you for care.
Yeah, well done for keeping an eye on that. Okay, man. Well, look, take care, Greg. We'll have a live stream in the next 5 days or so. Keep your eyes peeled, guys. In the meantime, you know where the links are. They're all below. Please help.
Thank you, Colin Jones. Been to Greg's site, 50 quid. Thank you for that. And yes, I did learn the word quid from Johnny. So thank you, guys. And once again, how can it be any better? It's just I run with the dog's bollocks, and there's nothing better than that.
This is true. This is true. Well said. Couldn't have said it that better myself, so I didn't. Awesome. Right, everybody, take care. Big love to you all, and big love to you, Greg. And to
I'll be on Mercado tonight in 4 hours, so see you there.
Check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Toodle pits.